Hey, welcome to another episode of Streezy Sports. And today I'm joined by the homies Shanga underscore Mike 9, Peter Oofs.
Yeah, what's up?
Gents, how's it?
Away.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
those
of course.
days.
Yeah, it is. It's when last did we shoot on a Wednesday, bruh? Normally we're shooting on Mondays, but this time around, due to the breaking news that has been, happening in the footballing world, I
But
decided to
our
uh,
club by now. Club statements are it's an annual. You
yeah.
just know don't know when, but it's coming at some point.
I know indeed. I know it's well standard, bro. It's just that no one anticipated it to happen this quickly, this swiftly. And I just wanna just ask you guys as Chelsea fans, because of course the name of today's episode is of course Poch being axed. Do you guys think that there's a plan, or it's just in Todd Bowley moving like Todd Bowley has been moving? I'll start with you, Oofs, there, Peter.
I don't know if Mike want to start, but yeah,
Oh,
a lot.
okay, fine. I know we can
I
start
don't
with
think
Mike as well. Yeah.
I think it's when you have what's this there's too many basically people that one needs to report to, and I think the heads don't necessarily share the same ideals. So you've got Todd Bowley thinking one way, Egg Bali thinking another way, and then obviously Ed Bali and Kierlek thinking in another direction or another way. So essentially you can't be led. It's like having two managers, essentially three managers that you're reporting to, and they all want things done in a different way. And I'm looking at it, and obviously, the sacking of Poch doesn't necessarily make sense to me. And it comes down to the fact that who's available out there that's going to be better than Poch, that's going to accept how things are run in the current regime, where you as a manager, you don't necessarily have much say when it comes to transfers coming in and transfers going out, and the type of people, then essentially they're looking for a yes man, but a yes man is not necessarily going to guarantee results. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you. You can hear you.
Yeah, so I think
Mike?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can. Can
So
you
I
hear
think
me, Peter?
yeah, no, I can hear you. So currently it's a dog show. It's all over the place. It doesn't necessarily make sense, especially considering the managers that we've been linked to, like the Ipswich head coach. What's that guy? The Leicester City manager,
Enzo.
and then Derby, and then now Thomas Frank. How are those upgrades to Poch?
Mm.
And I think
Yeah.
any city is not city if they didn't have Pep Guardiola. So the manager is very vital in terms of the success of the club. Just the exact same way Man United would have never been Man United
I think he's
Gents,
fading
can you hear
out.
There's a
me?
bit of there's a bit of a delay,
We
bro.
lost you a bit.
We lost you there a bit. You said Man United wouldn't be Man United.
Oh, what I was saying is that the manager is key to a football club. Man
Hmm.
United would not have been Man United if it wasn't for Sir Alex Ferguson. Liverpool would not be the team they are now if it wasn't for Jurgen Klopp. City would have never been the City team that we recognize now if it wasn't for Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
I know, definitely, bro, definitely. Like a manager does play a
You know,
huge role
so
in, yeah,
so
yeah. I
I
think
think
there's a bit of
it's
a delay on your end, there, man.
Yeah, I
Or
think
is it
there's a
me,
delay.
Sway, bro?
No, I agree. There's a delay. I think. Yeah, Mike. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's your internet or something. There's
yeah,
a bit of.
bruh. There's a bit of a delay, bruh. Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, Sway. I mean, Mike did mention the managers.
yeah.
As far as, yeah, man, this pool of potential coaches that have been, of course, Fabrizio posted this today.
So
What's your
like,
take on that? Yeah,
when I saw the list, Isolo, I was like, and for me, like people think I'm very Poch in, and generally
yeah,
I'm always of the view to keep a manager at least for 2 seasons to showcase some kind of structure and consistency. Poch around February, I was like, nah. And similar to like Potter, after like a few months, I saw like, you know what, there's no progress, and most likely this guy is gonna not gonna take us anywhere. So I'm like, at the point, it looks like there's reason to fire the manager. For me, looking at the current situation of Upoch, the fact that considering where we were in February and how we finished the league, to me that shows a level of change in approach. And one could argue it's too late, but for me it's like rather be late than sorry. We could have
100.
finished like last season and been ninth. And even the way we were playing, to me, that showed a lot of improvement in terms of style of play. The fact that we scored so many goals, fine, we considered a lot of goals, and Poch is not removed from his mistakes and some of his poor coaching. But I was willing to take another risk of another season with him, considering, and this is before even yesterday's situation, that of the coaching people or managers out there available prior to even yesterday, I was not convinced unless you're getting a Tuchel, a Hans Flick, or such a caliber of a manager. I do not see us seeing the need to kick off Poch unless you're getting someone who's high grade. And the reason I say this is like Chelsea is a club that has spent £1 billion, right? We have a record of winning Champions Leagues, back-to-back Premier Leagues. We have a history of being a big club. But it seems from this new ownership, it's like we are so attached to this project that even when Poch came, I was like, you know what? I'll buy into a project as long as there's structure, right? But now, even now that they've got rid of him, the managers that they want to replace him with, I'm like, how is this improving the situation? Because at this point, it's like, let's trust the process, but from scratch again. Because one, you don't want to give any coach at this point, from how it looks like, the ability to choose which players they want. Basics like, here are the players, coach. When I just be a coach, Tina will take care of the rest. I mean, you look at the guys that they're proposing. McKenna, championship. That guy is like his highest qualification is championship. And fine, he did well, but like he's 29, I mean 39. My guy, like let the guy is too fresh in fit. This guy has more recollection of his matric dance than Jay lifting a trophy in fit. Like he's not that old. Secondly, you have what's this other guy? Enzo Meresta, whatever his name is, from Leicester. His
Yeah,
highest CV is being Pep Guardiola's backstaff and being Man City's youth under 23's coach. That is your highest qualification, my guy. And you finish second in the championship. Next, you have the guy from Stuttgart, who I think his highest achievement was fine, and the club is trash, but his highest achievement was finishing ninth when they were fighting relegation battle. And then you have this guy, Thomas Frank, or is it Frank Thomas, whichever it is.
yeah,
For me, same thing. Highest achievement. Brentford was in championship. Fine, he did well, brought them to the Premier League, and they stayed in the Premier League. But where's the trophies? Nix. Where's your highest position? Brentford's highest position was, I think, ninth. Just 2-3 points, 3 positions short of. So basically, the highest achievements, all these managers, if also compared to Poch, can we truly say on paper we are looking to upgrade? I can't see the argument that justifies. It's like you're basically saying, let's put faith. And I understand if we were and this is why I felt like Todd Bowley, in my conspiracy theory, wanted to buy Brentford. or Brighton, I mean, because there's no other logic. Our whole philosophy is basically Brighton 2.0. We're buying a bunch of kids. I mean, yesterday I'm sure Mike saw, we bought like 17-year-old for 65 mil, bruh. And I'm like, illogic. Where's the logic in it? And I'm like, nah, fam. So for me, like, we're not being run like a big team. You can't spend a billion and then go through a project. Because the fact that you spend a billion means the expectation is you win trophies, you finish top four. I don't care who's the manager. The expectation, by virtue of just spending that much, you've created the expectation by default. So you can't go get a guy whose highest achievement is championship. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense. And then I hear Abanye Bazoti, there's miracles. And Xavi Alonso is a miracle in his sense, in his own right.
Yeah.
And congrats to his achievement. But let's be honest, for every Xavi Alonso, you can name a Gary Neville who flopped. You can name a Frank Lampard, Oli. You can name a freaking Rooney. You can name Terry Henry. You can name so many young managers. So Xavi Alonso is not going to be this guy. Okay, there's one young manager who achieved it. So therefore, let's just risk and get another young manager project who's going to make us become this miracle story that will be told for the next
Xavi
100
was
years.
coached by the best, eh?
You see?
Xavi, it was Mourinho, Ancelotti, Pep,
But you could say
and
the same for
then
Lampard. But now foot, hey man.
no. I mean, even Jose Mourinho once said, "Guti Xavi Alonso is going to make a great manager,"
So
and
that's my take, man.
so I think it's look. I mean, I think Xavi he understood the game from a tactical standpoint, and people that are tactical would always make good managers. It's the
But
exact
even then,
same thing like
I'm telling
Thiago
you,
Motta.
yeah, go on. Sorry.
Thiago Motta is obviously he's going to join Juventus.
Mm.
He understands the game.
Yeah, but
It's not
Thiago.
necessarily.
But look
Huh?
at Thiago's team. Look at Thiago Motta's team, Bologna. Bologna in the Champions League next season, bruh. I've never
But
ever seen Bologna in the Champions League ever in my existence on this
Yeah.
planet. On
no,
this
but
on yeah.
it's because he's got a football brain. He understands tactics. He understands systems. He understands his players, formations that will best suit his players. Those are the
Yeah.
type of guys that actually make great managers.
Mm.
I guess that's why the English people are not necessarily always successful as managers because all they understand is fitness.
Yeah, it really is true. Really is true. And I mean, here's a comment for you guys from Crizo. Tenhag will be available in the summer.
Yo.
So I'm not sure if you guys are keen on Eric Tenhag. I mean, yeah, man.
Nah, his talent ideas work.
I
Well,
think they told
this
you.
time around, I mean, he won't be the one that's signing players for you guys. You guys are gonna actually give him the instructions as to
Guys,
who.
you know what? Like I said, and people laughed me off the other time. I'd rather have Thiago Silva.
Yeah, you did say, Mike. Yo, Thiago Silva.
I'd
I
rather have at least Thiago Silva
uh,
has won it all. And
yeah,
essentially, like, I mean, okay, sharp. We won. I'm not too sure he's ever won a league with AC Milan back in
I'm
his
sure he
AC
has.
Milan days. But I mean, PSG, Champions League, he's done it all.
yeah, yeah. Let's yeah. Okay, welcome, mate. You good? You good?
I I'm very good. It's nice to see Mike here.
Yeah. I made sure that both of you guys are here because on the group chat, I was being entertained. I won't lie. It was global. It was Usyk versus Fury. I don't know who's Fury between you guys, but yeah. It was interesting. It was interesting. So of course, Mike and Peter have made their statements. Okay, I just wanted to hear your take on what's currently happening at your club. As far as Poch leaving, do you think that's a good move? On your end, what's your take?
I think it's a good move. I think Poch wrote his leaving his resignation letter throughout the season. He had a very good end to the season, but if you're in a job for 9 months and you perform one out of those 9 months, your employer is going to have to consider the other 8 months you didn't perform. And I think we all agree that the first 8 months of the Poch era were nothing to look forward to. So as far as I'm concerned, the fact that we are here as a team, I think as as fans, there is a level of fatigue as far as looking at another coach again. There is that fatigue of, can we just get this right so that we don't have to do this again? But at the same time, it's like, if the appointments are not working, I would rather not chill with the horrible appointment for long because you're trying to make it work, rather than seeing that this is not working and then moving on so that the team continue to develop. So for me, that's the correct decision. If it were up to me, Poch would have left during the season and would have started this process much earlier. I think right now what's happening now is that everyone is panicking because the media is busy. There's lists. The media didn't know Poch was getting fired, and then an hour after Poch gets fired, they know what list of replacements are there. So it's one of those things where you're like, somebody's lying. Some of these names are just being thrown out there for the sake of marketing. Right now, agents are trying to get their guys to go to big clubs. So I can understand why some of those names are being mentioned, because who wouldn't want to be, mentioned with a top six club in England, especially right now when you can sell your services to the highest bidder. So, hey, if your name can be thrown in there, it's fine. You'll see Steve Bruce eventually is gonna come up. Is gonna come up as well. Like, yeah, Steve Bruce is being discussed by Chelsea, just like Vincent Kompany, even though he's actually being considered by Bayern. Even that, I think, is not true. Honestly, I don't even think that's true. But it's one of those things where we have to be patient now as a fan base and not panic over lists. It's about who gets chosen for the role. And I'm sure they're gonna do interviews with all these managers, find out their plans, how they, because with Poch they did an interview. Poch got there. After agreeing to everything, Poch got there and started complaining from the start of the season. He doesn't have enough experience. Hey, the experience is not enough. Hey. He was using Ben Chilwell as a left wing. Hey. Colwill was a left back. It was a lot. Hey, it was a lot this season. Hey, it was a lot. So
Yeah.
so it's. I think I'm excited for a new talent, but I'm also worried that we might make a horrible decision because we like what we hear. I'm thinking ownership wise. They might make a horrible decision because someone presents a great case for themselves and they can't translate that tactically. I think with Poch as well as Potter, the owner sort of fell into that trap where someone came in and they were like, yeah, I can do this, I can achieve that, I can play this type of football. But there was never any evidence of them actually doing that. Poch has never coached a high possession team that controls the game. Potter has never coached a high possession team that controls the game. So when the owners say they want a coach that is high possession, controls the game, and plays beautiful football, their first two hires do not agree with them. So you have to ask yourself, what made them hire those guys if that's what they were looking for in the first place? You know, and they had Enrique, who plays high possession game, beautiful football, but he wasn't good enough for them. So you have to ask yourself, what is the criteria they're actually using to make these hires? So that's the only concern I have, is that I don't trust the owners themselves. But Poch was never supposed to be hired. I still stand by that.
Look,
Yeah. Mike, I
I
see.
don't think
Great. Yeah.
no, look, I understand with Poch's appointment that he wasn't supposed to be appointed. I mean, that time we had Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique. I thought initially one of the two was going to get appointed. But my problem right now with them sacking Poch or they departing ways with Poch is like, look at who's available. You can't tell me any of the guys that we've been currently linked to are better than Poch. You know, I mean, and you say no, back. I mean, you say that, oh no, these names are being thrown around due to the agents trying to get the clients potential jobs. In Roman's era, Fitch, no championship manager would have ever been linked to Chelsea, Joe.
Yeah, that was Roman's era.
No one, not even people that are in the Premier League. In fact, if you underneath, like if you're not in the top four position, né, you are never going to be linked with the Chelsea job. Like literally in Roman's era, it was just winners. You came in, you have won a league before.
Mike,
You came in, you have won a Champions League.
Mike,
Now you're telling
we
me
have
with
to
him?
move on. We
No,
have to
no, no.
move
Hear
on
me
from
out.
Roman's
Hear me
era.
out. Hear me out. I get we have to move on, but I cannot trust the owners to make a good appointment. And especially with the names we've been linked to, those are the most likely than not the guys that they're going for. And maybe include Deserby in that list. Otherwise, I mean, that guy from Stuttgart that came second in the Germans in the Bundesliga, I don't think he's coming. Amaron, I don't think he's coming. I think one of any coach that's what they name wouldn't come and go for the Chelsea job because at the end of the day, you essentially players that you want are gonna be transferred out. Players that you don't want are gonna be they're gonna sign you players that you don't want. I mean, we spent 60 million on some Brazilian kid, dude. For what? I mean, we've already got Piers, we've got that Angelo Gabriel.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
don't even
and you
know.
looking at it, and in order, if you look, like I said earlier on, City are who they are because of Pep Guardiola. Liverpool are who they are because of Klopp. Man United back in the day were the shit because of Sir Alex Ferguson. And I think at the end of the day, who you hire defines or determines the direction in which the club is going to be heading to, whether
Yeah,
you like
I'm.
it or not. The people we've been linked to, it's people that are just championship managers, and you're expecting championship managers to make the top four and compete.
I
People
think
that if trust and believe if any of those guys come in and they're not winning at least their first 5 games, in fact, there's gonna be a lot of pressure where even fans will be
This fan
screaming,
base,
"You don't know what you're
you,
doing."
you.
but okay, I hear you. I feel as though I I I don't think we are. That's just me, and I don't have any. You know who's coming and who's not coming. I don't. I want to believe that of the names that I mentioned, the names that should be at the top of the list are the names of managers who've actually achieved Champions League football at least this season with their
I
clubs.
want yes, man, my man.
So for me, top of that list would be Hunes and Michel. Those are the only ones, Girona and Stuttgart, because those two guys have actually turned over clubs that came from Stuttgart was almost relegated last season when Hunes came in.
Ask him phone, Chris.
Uh uh
Ask
Criso
him
is
phone.
playing.
Ask him phone.
Criso is playing. So
So,
Hunes took over Stuttgart when they were last on the log last season. They finished 16th. This season he finishes second. He's
mm,
basically done Chabi Alonso without winning the league or being unbeaten. But he's done that type of turnover at the club. Girona, relegation, came back from relegation straight to the top to the top of La Liga. That's what Michel has done. Those are the types of coaches you can back for a project because it's still a project. So I can understand the recruiting of young Brazilian kids. That's fine. Real Madrid does it. They've got Barcelona does it. That's still fine. The issue is getting a coach who's comfortable being a head coach. Tuchel wanted to be a head coach. They wanted to make him part of the decision making and whatever. And then they had an impasse around that because it was Bowley who was making the signings and he didn't know any players. And we tend to forget that because we didn't have a director of football at the time. And this is why Tuchel was saying that when Czech left, what he was doing, his role was not replaced immediately. We only got Winstanley after Potter was signed. That's when we got Winstanley, who became our director of football after that. And from then we signed the likes of Mudryk, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, and then we kept making more signings since. And ever since then, our signings have been quality. If you compare that to the Koulibalys, the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyangs, the
Mm.
the Sterlings that were being signed by Uboli, that's totally different. That's totally so you can tell Luguti, the owner himself was not signing but this guy, Chris.
Uh,
No,
Chris was looking out for Tenhag, bro. He's looking out for Tenhag.
No, Ukrizo should wait for news from his club. I don't think Ukrizo's jumping the gun here. I don't think Man United has an issue with Ten Hag. I think they are very happy with him. They are going to keep him. I think the reason Chelsea is probably worried about Hunes is that Hunes rejected Bayern. But there's a story behind these rejections to Bayern, guys. There's no way every coach is rejecting Bayern. And Hunes' his uncle is the president of Bayern. And he rejected his uncle for the job. Guys, no. That's a different story. For him to choose to stay at Stuttgart and say, I'm not taking the Bayern job where my uncle is my boss, I know something is wrong there. I think if we can go in for Hunes or Amorim, Amorim was willing to take the West Ham interview. He's dreaming of Chelsea, guys. Like, let's not play games. I think Mike is at the point where he's lost so much hope. He's starting to doubt his own club. We have Pool, bro. We are Chelsea Football Club. What do you mean?
No, it's not about that. I think it's
It's a
you forget,
list.
okay,
It's a
the
list,
managers.
Baba.
No, the managers want some sort of control on who goes out. Because I'm telling you now, Poch probably left the minute they were like, listen, Trevor and Gallagher, we are selling this summer. And he was
They
like, no,
sell
you know.
them. Sell them.
And then
Sell
you can't
them.
sell Trevor when you've got Pisa.
We are not winning any league with Conor Gallagher. We're not winning any league with who's this? With Trevor Chalobah. Sell them.
Yes, and
Sell
we're also
them.
not gonna win a league with McKenna.
No, who's talking about McKenna, my brother?
The
You don't know who
media.
McKenna is?
The media.
Yeah, leave the media alone. We are
No,
discussing
but
amongst ourselves.
let's work with the
No,
information
but
we have.
remember,
Let's work with the
Rosie,
information we have.
the
Guys,
other coaches, they wouldn't want to take on the Chelsea job, though.
Did the
The
media
ones you're
know that Poch
referring
was
to,
being
I'm
fired?
honest, ne? The
The
same
last-
reason he doesn't want to go to Bayern is the same reason you won't choose Chelsea.
That's horrible
Last-
to say because
Last
how
season,
can
we could have been linked with McKenna. We could have been linked to any of these young guys. Why now? Last year, the media chose Nagelsmann. It happened. It was interview.
they didn't choose
Decided
these
to walk
guys?
away. Poch was mentioned, so there is an element of truth to some capacity. The likelihood that of this list, maybe fine, two are a lie, but three of them, they're on the short list. Corner in
Peter.
his book, yeah.
Peter.
Ngamfuna lo muntu. No CV,
Peter.
but I like him.
Peter, last
You have
season,
an addiction for no experience. I don't know what is the addiction. It's a fetish.
last season we were
Directors of football, even the gardeners, the shoe cleaners, no experience, job requirements.
last season we were linked.
Chelsea is just a huge grand program at this point.
Last season we were linked with
The
Dezerbi.
graduation program.
Hey,
Last
yo.
season we were linked with Dezerbi, we were linked with Maresca, we were linked with Nagelsmann. It was a list as well last season. The reason
of
we
experience.
know wait. The reason we know that Nagelsmann and who's this, Lewis happened is because Lewis flew to England, and on his flight when he landed in Spain, the Spanish media confronted him, and he confirmed that he went to London. He had a business meeting in London. In fact, he said he had a business lunch in London. That was confirming Oguti he met with the Chelsea ownership. And then Nagelsmann did confirm 9-9 to the media that he had conversations with Chelsea, but that's not where he was going at the time. This is when Spurs thought they could get him as well. And then Spurs also failed to agree terms with him before they went for
just notice the difference. Those managers, the caliber and the CVs they have compared to now, even of those lists that you say of people that were also mentioned but didn't go for interviews, out of the 6, 2 were correct. They were interviewed. Till now we have a list of 6 young guys, in fact, no CVs. Fine, they have some credentials here and there, but if find a great program in here, I ask you that these managers this season compared to last season, tell me who of those 2 lists, where do you compare or weigh each of those managers?
No, last season it's much better. No, Peter, there's no arguing it. Last season we had better options. No doubt. In fact, I will still say the fact that we fumbled those 2 top appointments from last season is the reason we are here today. That's simple. We wouldn't be here today had we chosen a Julian Nagelsmann or a Luis Enrique. Honestly, we wouldn't be here. But we chose the lesser of those, which was Poch, and we are here today.
And the key point, who chose them? Our ownership, our directors.
It was the
right?
owners. So this season, fine.
Wait, let me finish the point. So fine, whether you say it's the owners, the directors, someone in executive position decided to make a decision to appoint Poch.
Yes.
They finished a whole season, 38 games in the high season. They didn't fire him. They chose themselves to keep him. I agree with you, they should have fired him early, but they didn't. He finished 6th, created some level of hope. Now, for me, my biggest concern is your philosophy as an ownership versus the fan base expectations. You can't spend £1 billion in players. You go for some of the biggest targets in the transfer market, Caicedo, Enzo, guys, and then you come and tell me, fine, the manager didn't work. The next manager we're getting, another project manager with a CV that is relatively worse than the previous guy. And then you're expecting me that billion, I must forget that you just blew and tell me if my expectations must be reduced. My nigga, I still want a top 4 finish. I still want a cup. But now you're telling me I must get that with the guy with the lower CV. The logic doesn't logic. And for me, my thing is, it just shows me that the ownership is playing basketball of NFL football because there's no soccer here, bro. Like there's no logic. Like
from the start. What was if you compare Tuchel's credentials versus Graham Potter, is there a place where they can sit? Is there a room they can sit together?
Nope.
But that's my point. The fact that they did that, they fired the guy, and now he's back in the cards, shows them they don't know what they would do. They don't know what they're doing, these guys. They don't know.
So I agree, Peter. But you know where I am with Chelsea is I am adjusting myself from the Roman era, because the Roman era was you get excellence and that becomes your standard, because excellence is what you push to your players. You demand excellence from your players. That's where winning comes. This is a different ownership model entirely from that one.
They spent $1 billion.
It's different from like a Man United. It's different from Man United where they moved from, you spend $1 billion on a project. They didn't spend $1 billion buying Kylian Mbappe. They spent $1 billion buying potential.
That's not the PR.
It's different. Yes, you know what? You can fight the facts.
Brighton has spent a bunch of keys. They didn't spend $1 billion.
With what?
But we're on the same level in terms of performance. We're in the mid-tables now of foot. But we spent $1 billion.
I agree.
Convert that to rent.
I totally agree. But the difference here is Brighton is not saying they are building a project that expect to win the league in some years in the future. Brighton is just trying to sell players.
That sounds like us right now.
Yeah. But you see,
We,
on
we,
the
we
Selling
are
on the
only
place to
selling.
profit. But thing is, at the end of the day, it all comes down to who you appoint as a manager. That's
Yes.
basically suffers through all levels. So at the end of the day, the people that we've been linked to, none of them you can sit there and honestly say, "Guti, they're better than Poch." Just like last season, the people that I wanted was either Nagelsmann or Luis Enrique. The only reason
They
I
were
chose
bigger than Poch.
hear me out. They were bigger than Poch. Nagelsmann and Enrique have got a better CV than Poch. They're bigger than where we're like, okay, shit. I've seen Luis Enrique's Spain team. I've seen the Barcelona team. Nagelsmann, I've seen his Bayern team and Leipzig team. You know what I mean? And hence why I would have went for them. But now, when we come here and then now we're discussing the potential candidates, and you being linked to Abantu that have just been they've won the championship and came second. You know what I mean? And then you're looking at it and it's like, okay, shit, how is he gonna control from a fan base standpoint? If that person starts off and hasn't won the first 5 games of it, you're gonna hear chants of you don't know what you're doing. Exact same thing that happened with Graham Potter. The fans, we're not patient, dog. Especially if you're gonna hire an inexperienced manager and then you're gonna sell off. Hear me out, ne?
Let them
Then
learn. Let
you're gonna
them
go
learn.
buy
Not the
players.
fan base.
Huh? They're not.
It's
They're not.
happening, guys. It's
No, they're
already
not.
happening.
Dude,
You're fighting the
yeah,
hear me out.
inevitable.
Hear me
It's
out, okay? If
happening.
you watch those Chelsea fan TV, ne? Do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube, watch Chelsea fan TV. 90% of those fans are pissed off at the fact that we parted ways with Poch. Because even though during the season they're like, now Poch needs to go. By the end of the season, like, hey, Mara, listen, out of all the managerial candidates that are available, I'd rather continue with Poch than go for any of these guys. Because
But
at the end of
guys,
the day,
how much?
you get a
Okay, let me ask
McKenny.
you. But Mike, let me ask you. We are obsessing over these English guys and these guys in the championship and in the league. But let me ask you this simple question: how much do you know of the other coaches that are not in England that are mentioned? How much you as Mike? How much do you know about them?
Hear me out. Uhonas and them, they're not going to join
How
in.
much do you know about them?
hey, tan. I don't know much, bro.
How much do
I
the
don't
Personally,
know,
Chelsea
man. Hear
fan
me
TV
out.
guys
Wait.
know about those? No, wait,
The fact that
guys.
I don't know him is
You
worrying.
guys liked Poch. You guys liked Poch because, like, the
I know
ownership,
him. At least I
Poch
can say I
sounded
know
like a
him.
safe. Poch sounded like a safe appointment, just like the management thought. Poch sounded like a safe appointment. He had the Premier League experience. You guys overrate, but tactically, Poch has always been weak as a coach. It's always been the case that every club is coached. But we went there because our Premier League experience. He's used to England, none. So my question to you is, of all these coaches that I mentioned, outside of England, how many of those coaches do you know? How many of them have you actually watched? Have you watched Girona this season? Have you watched Stuttgart this season? Have you watched Sporting this season? Do you know about Amorim's tactics? Do you know these coaches? Or
I'm
do
a
you have
guy.
an issue because you can't recognize the
No,
name of the
No,
coach?
no, no.
no.
Can I come in there?
Hear me out. I don't have problems with the coaches outside of England. I haven't watched enough of them, but clearly for them to get where they got to in their respective leagues, they must have accomplished something. But at the end of the day, the coaches that you looking from outside of England, there's that English language barrier which might impact them actually getting the job when we're dealing with the Americans. And plus the mere fact, Gutia, most of these guys, looking how the Chelsea system or the Chelsea is run currently, a lot of them
yeah.
will not be interested on the wrong.
My thing is this: the fact that I don't know these guys is the fact that I don't know these guys.
Ngifuna ukuzwa ukuthi nishayashaya ngamangawani la. Ngizishayela ngamanga ngibhizi icamelana amanga nakhohlisana ngifuna ukunizwa namhlanje.
You know how to celebrate cup now.
Mike, right?
Congratulations, by the way, Cheese.
Yeah.
Well done, dog. Big
I
up.
sugar.
I know, no, but guys, you have to give him that. Well done, Cheese, father. Thank you for continuing to dominate us. Until next season, it's gonna be the same old thing because, boy oh boy, Chelsea are moving like Man United right now. Like you guys, it's deja vu. Like I'm hearing you guys argue. In my mind, I'm like, these guys are pretty much in the
X
same.
X X. Can I ask you a question right now, ne?
Bro. Yeah.
I understand Onke's argument, but for me, like the fact that I don't know someone, like it's the same thing with players. Umunyo Zokchela, some player that plays in Brazil, he plays for some club, Fenici, Pochagato, Pamarelli, Galini, whatever, Pamelot, I don't know. Some team, in fact, is the next big thing, And you're like, yo, this guy is the next big thing. And I'm like, I don't watch the Brazilian league, in fact. What am I doing, And I have to go on the faith of the scouts and the ownership. But each track record here tells me that what you're doing is experimental because on paper, it has brought no results to date. If I ask you X, at Man United right now, off the list, find speculation of managers we link to. We're not at Man United. Who would you take, Labai?
None, dog. I'm sorry. The list that I saw there, hey man, like it's crazy. But like Onke's cry. I get why Onke's cry. It's like I said, you guys have a similar problem to us because the environment itself is not there to even help the manager succeed. When you look
You
at
now need to fuck Rulani at this point. Just fuck Rulani.
no, but Rulani, the reason why Rulani is doing well is because the environment allows him to do well. I mean, Sundowns have the money, they're spending all the time, and there's proper structures within the organization, Whereas with you guys, ever since your Russian sugar daddy left, the whole structure, the structure that got you guys all the trophies you got, it's all gone. And Todd Bowley, I'm not sure what he's trying to do at your club, But as a United fan, it's nice having another team, with us in the shit show we are in. At least now Chelsea and United fans you guys can understand why we've been crying for the past decade. Ever since our, Ferguson left, all our structures left with him. And Nazi self, we've been chopping and changing coaches. We've been making signings for the sake of making signings. We haven't been fixing our stadium. You guys saw how our stadium is. At least you guys, Stamford Bridge is still standing. You guys have Wi-Fi. You have screens at your stadium. When it rains,
we have Wi-Fi.
Shit. Yeah, we don't even have Wi-Fi, bruh. I'm for real, dog. It's bad.
Yeah. You guys have dial-up.
You see, so I think right now, like, let's look at this thingy. Crizo's comment. He's like, I fear the Premier League is no longer the best league in the world. Who challenges Pep next season if these things stay the way they are, guys? Like, think about it.
Arteta will challenge. Arteta will challenge.
At this point, the only way to beat Pep is non-football means, in it. Non-football means it's trying to go FBI style, CIA style, in it. Infiltrate, in it. There's no other logic in it. It's clear on the ground, in it. It's not working.
Yo,
I struggle with this thing, Yoguti. The Premier League is the best league in the world. Okay, I'll say this. The Premier League was not made the best league in the world because it was super competitive. We come from an era where it was dominated by one team, in Manchester as well. And then other teams would just pick in this one season, get a league title here and there. Another team, while Man United is taking a break, then Man United comes back, dominates the league again. And then another team pops up, takes a few titles, and then United comes back again. So I feel like we are basically in the same era we grew up in. What made the league the best in the world is the drama of the league, honestly. And the drama still exists. It's just Arsenal didn't make it competitive until the last day of the season. We've had last day finishes. City is winning their fourth title with a final day finish in the last decade. Fourth title with a final day finish. That's drama. That's entertaining. It just means the teams that were chasing City didn't do enough to get over the line ahead of them. You know, Liverpool got there twice close last day, didn't get the luck. Man United last day didn't get the luck. Arsenal last day didn't get the luck. Arsenal last season dropped the soap. Basically, last 2 months couldn't finish it. So I don't think it's not competitive or not dramatic. I just feel like people are tired because it's not the Chelseas, the Uniteds, the Arsenals that are winning, the Liverpools that are winning the league. It's Man City. So it doesn't feel like there's noise because we see it's not 10 years, is 3 that are making noise. So it's very quiet. You know, it's a whisper. That's why it's more the affinity.
Yeah.
It's the truth, though. It's more the affinity. It's like Mamelodi Sundowns when it wins the league. There's hardly any hype because you know you don't feel it. You don't even know Sundowns ikupule iphakamise ileague nini because you didn't feel it anywhere. Mina ngibuye kasi dog. If Pirates won the league, it would have been a stampede. Like it would have been difficult to drive anywhere. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why. So it's because people don't have. You don't go to work and worry about your Monday. I'm a fan of Arsenal. Imagine if Arsenal had won the league, then was gonna feel like, yeah, this is the best league in the world because Arsenal fans have something to say. Yes.
Are you saying Man
so
City is a small team?
Yes. No, we all know that. Even City fans know that it's not a bad thing. They know it's the truth. It's fine. It's okay. They can live with it.
Yeah. Cheese, are you gonna jump in and say something?
Akusimakhohlwe ukuthi mina nginithembiseni last season. Ngathi mina if I win the league this season 4 in a row, on the show ngizoza nje ngimamele ngivume ngihleke. Yeah, angisakhuluma. Angithi nakuzoyikhuluma sowina 4 in a row mfethu. Awusajustify ama-small chats. Uyawuyeka abantu bakhuluma nje uvume uthi ya, ubabheke uthi ye, uthi no. Ubabheke bawu-number 80, ubabheke bawu-number 15, then sebawu-number 6, then sebalabodwa. Uyathula nje wena uzibhekele. Abantu bathi hey, Arsenal lewini league, Arsenal ihambe idliwe Aston Villa. Bathi hey, sodliwe i-Spurs. Hayi mfethu, impilo yami mina. Yabo manje ngisashowini ngibhizi ngicheckana nema-IPL score lana impilo yami ichaphu mfethu phela. Dala ngagcina ukudlima igame. Dala ngagcina ukudlima imatch mfethu. That's it's been a long time since ngithe Esther sezingidliwe kabuhlungu kanjani. It's been a while, but this year I don't think I've said it.
Those 150 charges are waiting for you.
No matter how charges, I still haven't lost a game this year. No matter how times have I 50 no more charges now. This year,
The day you guys get relegated, might happen next season. You never know.
Then
You're a two-man City support.
Bakwera manje ukwapile ukuthi ngiquarantine yakhe la.
Someone asked me ukuthi, if City gets relegated, what would stop them from coming back like Juve came back Serie A and just dominated for 8 straight years, winning the league? Because Juve was relegated.
Before United wins it. See, win like 8 footy before United wins it. Come on. See, win like 3 in a row, United win. Lapho khona ngizobona ukuthi yazini ezinye izinto. Because the problem is never money, gents. The problem is never money. You put the structures in place, you give coach time to create an environment where they can do well. And everything at the end of the day, you judge a coach by the results they bring. If we play good football, Brighton, Spurs, and we don't have the results, it's a problem. So it needs to be a good blend of everything in between to get everything right. I don't think Arsenal are far from winning trophies. Arsenal, I had a period where in the next 2 or 3 years, Pep Maga resign. Everyone is forced to deal with Arteta now. Whatever.
Yeah, and now, here's the thing also. The league is going to start to adapt to Arteta. Arteta is going to have to start to reinvent himself going forward. Angithi khona manje, Arteta's got a style of play. He's got yonke leyo nto leyo. Teams are going to now start to plan better for Arteta because they've got tape on Arteta. They know how he plays. And now he's going to have to start to utilize his team a little bit more different, to be more flexible tactically. And that's when the free-flowing game is going to be difficult. City can win a game grinding. City can win a game unconvincingly, but with consistency. Arsenal, when they are not playing well, they struggle to find the consistency of results. What they got right this season is that their defense was very good this season. But the seasons that follow, Mfana, this thing is like this. You are never in one place in the league. Teams get better. Teams plan better for you next season. Coaches understand you better. They take more risks. They start to utilize your weaknesses against you much better. And they start killing. Even refs start to learn, oh, this season, you guys were pushing goalkeepers to set piece. Next season, we are punishing you when you do that. They were scoring a corner by bullying goalkeepers the whole season, Ben White. And no one was calling them. Towards the end of the season, they started to make those fouls. They were calling those fouls. Arsenal stopped scoring from set plays. That tells you, as the season continues, as they continue, the more you don't win and you're playing well, it doesn't bode well for you. Arsene Wenger learned that the hard way. Great football, no trophies. Great football, no trophies. Teams get better, teams improve, teams play you better. And then you are now struggling to actually find the consistency of results to challenge. Now you are stuck in limbo. And that's what Arsenal is at risk of doing, Konamanj. But Chelsea, keep changing these managers. Doesn't matter. Guys, Mina, I'm at the point where we have to wait for these owners to wake up. If it takes 5 or 6 coaches for them to be like, we've done this thing all wrong, we need to go back to the standard we found that was set here. What's happening now is they are failing at a very fast rate, which is the best way to fail. You don't want to fail slowly like Man United. Because 10 years is going to pass, you're going to have a shit manager, and you're going to be like, what is wrong? Maybe the whole squad needs to be sold. No, you have talent, but you're not supporting your talent by putting the best quality to support these guys to get what you need them to get in terms of success. And we have a young squad enough to fail. We can fail with the young squad. We can afford to because we have a young squad. It's not Real Madrid. It's not Man City. Man City can't afford. In Liverpool, Liverpool is thinking in Buffett. In Liverpool, is shit. They can't afford to fail. Their team is too experienced. It's way too experienced. If Liverpool has a shit season next season, they literally are going to be losing players. The bulk of their squad is going to be gone after next season. If that coach doesn't work, the bulk of their squad is going to be gone. Tina, we can still afford another season of failure. Foot is number 7-year contract. We can afford it. We have Brazilians coming. We can afford it. We can still fail. I'm happy to fail. Poch can go. Let's fail with someone else.
But the thing is that I still maintain on Kempe to like this thing of especially with modern day football. We really have to look at City as a benchmark and look at what City does essentially, because like City are dominant even in Europe. Madrid, for them to be in the Champions League final, they were lucky, bro. Let's be honest. Over those 2 legs against City were
that's the tail. That's the tail of the history of Real Madrid.
Yeah,
but it's in their DNA.
Likely Chelsea have stepped up their interest in Leicester City manager Enzo
Maresca. I've seen that the whole day. That is top of the list.
But essentially, gents, like our clubs, especially I'll talk about Man United and Chelsea, we need to sort out our structures internally before we even, focus on even getting managers in, bro. And so, when I look at my club, I'm not saying that, Tina, we are going to do anything, but I've been crying out that we need to sort out our structures, and that's what Ineos have been doing right now. They've been getting rid of these guys that don't know nothing about football and replacing them with guys who have actually done it at the top level. So for me, there's that bit of hope that at least we're moving in a positive direction. Of course, they haven't yet implemented anything because we haven't seen them, get a coach, create a philosophy. That stage we haven't reached that stage, but thus far, at least this Kala Pezu, we're starting with the foundations rather. And then from there, we're gonna start hiring the coach and then have a philosophy, and then we're gonna recruit according to this philosophy, even if we recruit an unknown player. But if this player suits the philosophy, then it's fine. I mean, look at Palace. Buffett to Palace in how many months? 5 months. They already look wavy. No, but they are sway, fam. They are.
I hear you. But the Palace expectations between a Man United and a Palace are totally different. Bro. And I'm talking about the fan base.
No, I'm talking about also something on the field, bro. Like, these players are listening to the manager. They are implementing Mateta scoring like nobody's business all of a sudden. If Mateta most probably would have made the French national team, dog, if maybe he was given like 9 months. If he was like on this form that he is currently, and 9 months later, maybe Deschamps would have called him up. But
now when I look at Chelsea, right, there was an era in which Chelsea was considered one of the biggest teams in terms of competitiveness. We went to a UCL final. We lost to you guys. The following year, we won it. We won Europa League. A season after that, we had won. Even before 2 seasons before that, we won the Premier League back-to-back with Jose. We skipped Ivan Grant, that Champions League final, so forth, so forth. In that period, besides Roman, the man who was at the helm under Roman, Michael Emenalo, was the key function in terms of Roman's philosophy. He was the one who suggested to Roman, build a football academy that can develop young players that we can actually utilize. And that was contributing to why we had a large loan army, but also ensure that Chelsea, from a profitability level, was able to sustain itself, generated the likes of Reece James, all these different young players. And even Emanalo, he's a key figure in terms of bringing the likes of Eden Hazard. I mean, you can literally Google this stuff. The likes of bringing 5 Belgian players. We brought in Couture, Eden Hazard, okay, Mickey Batshuayi, okay, one you could call, even Kevin, and I think I can't remember the 5th one. And a key person is the underlying factor of a key director in your team. That we have a person who's the director of football who understands what exactly is a key component of what defines your team. Relays upon whoever you hire as a coach and whoever is on the team. For me, if you can't get that right in terms of a director of football, if you don't have one at all, to me it feels like in jail on the street, right? Like, because it's like come go.
Yeah.
But we've gotten that one right, guys. Let's be honest. Chelsea have recruited well. We've got Joe Shields, the one who recruited Cole Palmer and Romeo Lavia.
Cole Palmer was not a priority.
What Poch wanted Dybala. The reason Cole Palmer was a late signing was because Poch wanted a different winger.
Because remember, the both directors were not appointed end of September. Our directors were appointed just before the season started. Cole Palmer was signed 3 days before the closing window.
Because
in fact, Cole Palmer, if you read up on it, was considered for West Ham, and I can't remember who else, for 23 million. Tina Sifaka last 2 days before closing window, Faka 40 million. I thought that was not a player that was targeted, even by the directors. That was not a target.
That was a Joe Shields player, bruh. That was a
he was not targeted.
Player.
He was not prioritized. I'm sorry.
What
you don't target someone.
He worked with Joe Shields. He worked with Joe Shields just like Romeo Lavia. In fact, in the last days, that's when Joe Shields was actually hired at Chelsea. Those are the 2 signings.
He was not hired then. I'm telling you.
Joe Shields was hired late. It was
not September. I checked. Not September.
When?
Let me check.
You can check. I can tell you, it was hired just in July.
Joe Shields.
And even then, the fact
He
that
was the last. But the point is, he was the last director. My problem with the structure Konamanje is that we have too many people at the director of football or recruitment level. I feel as though if you're doing recruitment, it should be one person that is doing it, director of football, like Mike was doing and Ulen Tumarina was doing in corporate. Umarina was looking at sponsorships where and doing the contracts, the deals with the clubs, and then Emanalo was looking for talent. That works better.
Yeah,
Joe
but
Shields
the
is
reason
great at
Emanalo left
identifying.
is the exact reason why
Joseph
we
was
have a big
hired,
issue now.
was appointed on the 27th of October 2022. So he was in the
2020.
job for
22.
So he was in the job for a good 10 months.
It was a year. Okay, that's fine.
10 months.
That's fine. But the point is, those players specifically are Joe Shields players. But now imagine the difficulty of a Joe Shields who's not senior in his position, having to convince Owen Stanley or Stewart first before they can actually make a move. That's why I'm saying there's too many brains in there. Uchiki
And
doesn't have
inexperienced
anyone at
ones.
City. Leonardo doesn't have anyone at PSG that he needs to take his signings to. Perez has no one at City, at Real Madrid that he needs to argue Magayen's signing with. You need someone who makes the final decision to be one. And the buck stops with that person. If the signing works or it doesn't work, it stops
Okay,
with that person.
can I ask you a question? Come
Yeah.
next year, this around March, April, Chelsea is outside the top 4. We haven't won any cup. What do you think the fan base is gonna say?
Obvious.
Well, we are
Whoever
doing
is
better
in
than
charge must
United.
go.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
we're
they're
doing
gonna
better
say.
than United.
That's what Sihle was saying on Monday, Mbana. On Monday, Mbana, like Sihle was on my case about doing better than United, and we're not even the benchmark, Mbana. Like I even asked him, but we're not even the benchmark, dude. Like, yes, 6th, you guys finished higher, but still, Mfethu, you can't be Chelsea Football Club. Like Mike Fethu, so we went to varsity together. I don't recall you guys ever being happy about Chelsea finishing 6th.
We've
ever.
never like happiness
See-
here to eat. Here to us, buddy. Happiness here, Chelsea fan. Here to us,
and
blind.
then, you see what I'm saying? And as well, this thing is also making your fan base drop its standards, and that's the problem. Even with
That's
Man
why I'm
United.
so angry at Mike.
He
That's why I'm so
dropped-
angry at Mike Uguti. Last month, 28 days ago, Mike was saying we need to fire this guy. Mike was saying we need to fire him. Literally 2 weeks later, Mike is now caping for this guy. 2 weeks. That has never been the
Mina ngantshela ngo-Mike. Ngantshela ngo-Mike nina nathi mina ngiyamsukela. Ngantshela ngahlala la kule show ngathi nina animazi u-Mike nina.
I thought we were true, Linton. How could
Hayi ngizofakaza lana la.
No. A month ago, yes, I was like, after the Arsenal, I was like, I know it's time. But then he's proven it in the last 5 results, and you also need
What
to
did
look
he
at-
prove? What did he prove?
4 games.
Yeah,
No, hear me out. No, hear me out.
If you factor just this year alone,
No, but you guys are not listening, though. You're not listening, though. You need to also no, because you guys are not considering but the managers out there and the ones that would accept the Chelsea job are not on the level your Poch. If you're going for championship managers, why the hell you might as well stick with Poch. I mean, De Zerbi and Poch, compare De Zerbi and Poch. Poch has trapped him throughout the whole season. We've been chowing like basically,
but you basically have everything that De Zerbi had. You
Doesn't
bought
have
everything. You bought his whole backroom stuff as well.
We have one of his best players from last season, and one of his best defenders from last season chilling on our bench. The riches at Chelsea, are enough for any coach to thrive. It's worse for a coach who has no tactical understanding, like Poch Smiley, like Poch, who can't even get subs right. Subs, Mfana, subs. Come on, Mike.
Okay, back to my question. Next year, this time around March, April.
No, I told you, Peter. I told you. We will say fire the coach.
And what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
We're gonna fire the coach.
Nah, they're gonna go after the owners.
That's my
Like,
point.
guys,
People
no, but
object at Chelsea at this point. It's
but
wire
Peter,
wire.
but Peter,
Yeah.
I said to you, yabona khona manje, we need to fail fast until these guys can wake up to the fact, Yoguti, the way they are doing things does not work. We don't want
That's
to
what you call domestic
beg-
abuse.
No, we don't want an Ole situation, bruh, where we are keeping a mediocre manager because we are trying to keep we want to sustain. No. There's no sustaining of mediocrity, Sbali. If it's not working, change it. That's how we're supposed to do it until they get it right.
Change
Until
for the
they
bad.
decided
for the
that they
bad.
don't want top coaches. I think that's what they
Not in
decided.
Vela League
As a club.
equivalent.
No, as
In
a
Vela,
club,
in Vela,
as an
okay.
ownership.
Ah.
No, but Peter, this is the
Nisazo
reality. Our owners decided,
nisazowachasha.
our
Sazowachasha.
owners decided we don't want quality coaches. So we are going to use these coaches that have no quality until we find one that has. We will find our own Arteta or Xabi Alonso by some miracle.
No, okay, the trend is now to try to find a Pep. What's a wish? I mean, Liverpool got a fat Guardiola. Man United got from Wish. Get an old Ray, get an old Guardiola, Maresca. I mean, that's the trend, bro. Get a version of yourself of a Guardiola and you try it out. It won't. I'm not saying it'll work, but you find one and you try it out. I mean, this guy, Liverpool went and found an oak out of nowhere, bro, and just like this guy is bold. Definitely knows some total football and whatever the school of football that they come from. And
You know,
can I address Trishul Gangman?
yeah.
And Trishul, Chelsea fans understand that. They are used to it. In fact, we should be the most used to it turn over because we used to turn over coaches who had achieved great things. We fired Ancelotti after he finished second, Spali. we fired Ulento when he was first in the league because Ulento, who was the Champions League winner in 2012. We fired him because he was first in the league. He was first in the league, but he was eliminated in the group
But
stage.
the key thing is the winning.
Of the Champions League.
Firing with no results.
Yeah, but
It's like going to the club every night trying to get laid.
Why are we to sack people? We're getting world-class coaches the whole time.
No, but when you fire someone, Spadi, it means that you expected better from them. That means the ownership contracted Poch for better than what he got this season. Just like they contracted Graham Potter for better than he got this season. Whoever is coming as well knows, Uguti, should I underachieve what I have been contracted to achieve, I am going to get fired.
Okay, but
that's the standard.
Tell me as a fan, what are my expectations for this new manager with no experience? What is my expectations? Tell me, guide me.
No, Peter, I can't tell you your expectations. How? What are your expectations?
What are your expectations from a Champions League?
I can't tell you what to expect.
No, you need to ask, because remember, you're saying, Guti, we used to chop and change, but we're getting world-class managers the whole time.
And winning.
So even if they sacked one, you need to say, okay, no, what? We're getting a really good manager coming in. Nowadays, in Fetu, when they'll sack a good manager and they keep on regressing, it's going down.
Okay, so what am I
next year? Maybe they'll be getting a manager from League One.
So let's say we get to Maresca, ne? And I expect him to struggle, and he struggles mightily. At some point, the ownership needs to be told, Guti, the way you guys are trying to drive this vehicle is going nowhere. It's actually taking us back. The heritage of this club is under threat because you guys are changing the entire culture and you're going the wrong direction with this. Let us move it back to where it was. Let's go to the managers that have always been linked with a Chelsea type of job or a top 6 Premier League type of job, and then try to build from that. At least let us return to the time of let's return to the winning culture, the culture of expecting wins. Then the trophies will come back. The style of football will represent what you want it to. You can't do that while you are failing to win games. People are not going to trust the project. You're going to get fans hurling insults and all of that. But if these owners have not realized it at this point, and based on who is being linked with the job and is leading towards getting the job, they haven't. That's fine. They'll fail. It's not like I'm going to stop being a Chelsea fan, guys, next season. I'm not. I'm not going to stop even tomorrow. Even if Maresca gets appointed, I'm not stopping being a Chelsea fan. So now I am dealing with the reality that I have to live with for next season. And that reality is, I am just hoping the owners come to the realization sooner rather than later. Yoguti, the direction we chose when we fired Thomas Tuchel was the worst type of direction for what we wanted to achieve, for the legacy we were trying to create for ourselves. Then we can go back to being Chelsea.
Look, I hear you. And for me, whoever's appointed, I'm always going to back the manager, especially when they join. I think there has to be at least some level of conviction to say, look, let's give a person a chance, because it's not like I have any control who's actually appointed. I mean, I'm just a guy who's just supports this club. I have no say. So I'm going to back whoever's appointed, whether it's some guy from League One, I don't know if it could be someone's garden boy in J. It's fine, I'll support him. But me, end of the day, when I look at that bench, it's a Chelsea. There's 2 stars there. I expect end of the season, each game I watch contributes to a trophy, top 4, if not even title contenders. And for me, the build up, fine, whoever manager you've got in, Tuchel, you got rid of him. Now it's like we bring back a person, and knowing ego, highly unlikely they're going to bring him back. That sense of PR.
No, they won't. That one is past, Mpana. Let's leave that one alone.
So for me, we've gone through so many matches. Potter, I don't even know what that was. They talked about we want to be a data-driven club. We are so focused on data. What we've got data experts. Don. Potter brought us data, brought us 9th, basically. Whatever. Fine. Went to interviews. Kulamano Nagelsmann rejected us. It's like Hansambe club in so the hottest girl said, yeah, here's my store at Nang sharp. Enrique walked past our table. We talked to him at actually.
Who hurt you, Tim?
Yeah?
Who hurt you? That analogy was deep, bro. It's deep.
It's deep, bro. I like it. It's very realistic as well.
I hope Leonto Mazani Bugel.
And then there's that girl, the one who used to date one of your friends in jail. One of your friends from the same hood. He did okay, but manje, some niggas a chance because the other 2 don't want you now. Some niggas a chance. And said, you know what? I'm gonna buy bottles. Spend $1 billion. Babe, I got you.
Billion.
I'm a bless on it. Boom.
Can I ask both you guys, ne? Mike, Peter. I want you guys to be super honest as fans, ne? Let us say let's say we want to stay in England. We don't want to get out of England, but we hire De Zerbi. Of all the other ones that are in England, how would that one make you feel?
You mean De Zerbi as our coach?
Yes.
Considering what we're working with in fit, I'll take it, but fit. And at this point, but I don't trust our ownership. But I just don't. I don't know in J when I'm fit. I don't know, man. The track record just doesn't say that we're going to make the right decision in fit.
That's why
it's almost like that point where, you know, like, going back to my analogies, where like your mother just tells you there's that girl down the street in Fitch. So Dallas chatting.
This girl, man.
It's basically that point.
Nah, but I think the Zerbi's got a style of play. So I mean, with their players, he might actually do better. So I think with him, out of all the other guys, I'll be happy with him.
Yeah, no, because you know, I always think about how De Zerbi used his squad last season, especially. This season he had Mitoma was injured for most of the season. No Caicedo, no McAllister, problematic. But I think about how De Zerbi used that team, especially the double pivot. Yeah, okay. How he used Uwelbeck as well as a false nine. The fact that we've got I'm just thinking tactically, né? The fact that we've got Unico, who's technically a little bit better than Uwelbeck. Uwelbeck is a better striker in front of goal than Uland, than Unik. But I think about Mudrik in that Mitoma role, especially the runs off the ball, how he created space for the wings with Solimarch on the right and Mudrik, as well as Trossard when he was there before he went to Arsenal on the left, and how he was so dynamic with that team, and he lost so much of that talent because Brighton sells. I think we have the players for a De Zerbi type coach, a coach who's got tactics that he can start the season with, and you've seen his football in play. It's just a case of, I'm not sure in here he can enforce the mentality part of the game in the players, because it's one thing to be a tactical coach, it's another to be a coach that teaches the mental strength to see through a result, because a lot of it is here as well. Tactically, players should know what to do on the pitch when whatever happens, but that extra level that you need in here, the one that you see Abo City and Abo Arsenal switch into, Crizo, you still have a coach, calm down. You still have a coach. I worry about that, and it's the same with all these other guys. I've watched Michel coach at Girona. He's very intense. I like intense coaches because I feel like Chabi is very intense. They want you to play football the way that they want. There's a video during the season I saw Makali game where Michel was explaining to his wingers how to receive the ball and turn, how to read pressure when it's coming from behind you. You need to have the courage to turn and face the pressure. And I'm like, you don't see this in England, because the way the midfielders in England, if they are facing the goal, they are passing back. They are not trying to turn and scan on the ball. It's one of those things that nuances that coaches teach that help the mentality of those teams. Chabi, for example, teaching his players not to play long balls when they have transition, to keep it short. It's so simple, né? It's so simple. But when you see it in play, you realize this is why these guys don't lose the ball when they have transition, and they can carry the ball all the way to the goal to create. That's very important. I like those types of coaches that teaches the small intricacies in games, like Pep teaching movement of the ball. I like that, because players are not intelligent here mentally. You have to train those things into them. So I think at De Zerbi would be great as far as that's concerned. It's just that winning mentality that I don't know if he has.
You should do a coach ranking. You've done your
definitely. Yeah.
Mina,
Hey, Pana, Pep is so number one. It's not funny.
Yeah, that one we're not even gonna include Pep. Pep is in a league of his own, and yeah, man, Jets, I think we need to call it. I mean, hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, hey, we've been here.
Therapy session. This has been a nice therapy session, and yeah, but so guys, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Gents, thank you so much for availing. This is Easy Sport, and we out. Peace.
Yeah, free